They said they'd stick with Dillon Gabriel, and the Browns doubled down on that decision this week, even as the roster around him kept fraying. Gabriel's numbers in the Jets' loss weren't explosive. 17 of 32 for 167 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. On paper, it looks like competence. On tape, it looked like a quarterback repeatedly asked to survive chaos. 6 sacks, stalled drives, little consistent rhythm. Those are not the ingredients for rapid growth, and they're certainly not the kinds of plays that quiet a fan base begging for change. Meanwhile, the bigger quarterback subplot just got more complicated. The Browns announced they are not opening Deshaun Watson's 21-day practice window this week, meaning Watson won't begin a formal return to practice process for now. Coach Kevin Stefanski didn't flatly close the door. He hinted the window could open later. But for the moment, the veteran's comeback remains on hold. That choice preserves roster flexibility and avoids rushing a twice-repaired Achilles back into live action. But it also leaves Cleveland's timeline murky. Watson's presence would have complicated the Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders debate, not smoothed it. Which brings us to Shedeur Sanders, the rookie who hasn't taken a regular season snap, but continues to dominate the headlines. Fans and social feeds have been relentless. Just Play Shedeur is now a chorus after another frustrating loss. The Browns, for their part, are resisting the pressure. Stefanski has publicly backed Gabriel and framed his stance as process-driven. Practice reps, development, and the belief that continuity matters. That's defensible. It's also a luxury few coaches enjoy when the record is 2-7 and tolerance for losing is short. Let's be clear about why this decision feels risky. The Browns' problems aren't solely a quarterback issue. Special teams imploded versus the Jets. A 99-yard kickoff return and a 74-yard punt return turned the game into a nightmare and put the offense behind the 8-ball early. That unit's failures are self-inflicted wounds that have nothing to do with who's wearing number 7. Meanwhile, the offensive line got pushed around. 6 sacks allowed and 24 pressures show why even a steady, veteran quarterback would look rattled. When the pocket collapses, young QBs become passengers. There's still some good here, small bright spots you can point to. Jerry Jeudy posted season highs, 6 catches, 78 yards, and a touchdown, showing there are weapons worth building around. Rookie Quinshon Judkins is emerging. 75 rushing yards against the Jets and a knack for forcing missed tackles make him one of the few consistent playmakers on this roster. Those 2 pieces matter. They're not full fixes, but they're not nothing either. What's broken is obvious. Special teams are hemorrhaging points and field position. The offensive line can't buy time, and the defense, usually the steady heartbeat of Cleveland, unspooled late with 2 penalties inside the final 2 minutes that essentially handed the Jets a kneel-out. Discipline, fundamentally, is slipping. That's not a problem a quarterback switch magically solves. It's a cultural and schematic problem that requires coaches, coordinators, and leaders to get synchronous. So what should the Browns actually do next week? Short term, tighten the fundamentals. Simplify protection schemes and give Gabriel quicker reads and more max protect calls so he can operate without getting mauled. Clean up special teams assignments immediately. Fewer exotic returns, clearer lanes, tackle first emphasis. Drill late game situational reps until the defense stops gifting free first downs. Those are boring, unglamorous fixes, but they stop losses from snowballing. If the front office is thinking longer term, they need a plan that matches their patience. Do they want to evaluate Shedeur in a controlled way, scripted drives, short windows, designed rollouts, or do they continue trusting Gabriel through this trial? Either route requires roster upgrades. Offensive line help, a top-end receiver the quarterback can throw to in tight windows, and a stable, honest special teams overhaul. If Watson is ever activated, the Browns must be clear about the path. Is Watson a stopgap, a reclamation project, or the future? Ambiguity breeds unrest. There's also optics to manage. Fans are losing patience. 13 consecutive road losses, scoring more than 17 points only twice in 14 games, and a team that looks like it forgot how to finish. Ownership and the front office need to show a plan. It doesn't have to be a headline-grabbing roster purge. It does have to be coherent and visible. Even small, decisive moves. A new special teams assistant, an O-line consultant, an upgrade at a backup spot. Send the right message. Finally, remember the human angle. This roster is young and beat up. Concussions, ankle tweaks, and roster churn compound a rookie QB's learning curve. If Stefanski really believes Gabriel gives the team the best shot to develop long-term, he has to give him protection and time, but he also must set a limit, measurable progress week to week, not vague optimism. If progress stalls, the organization must be ready to pivot transparently. Short-term record. The Browns host the Baltimore Ravens next, a tough matchup that could expose more cracks or, if things go right, give Gabriel a chance to show growth in a structured game plan. Long-term. Cleveland needs clarity on Watson's timetable, on Shedeur's eventual role, and on whether this staff can turn a fragile season into a deliberate rebuild. Final thought, patience is a strategy, but patience without direction is just delay disguised as prudence. The Browns are stuck between two dangerous options, hopping impatiently for a quarterback miracle or waiting and hoping foundational fixes fix themselves. The season will tell which was wiser. For now, the clock is ticking louder, and every choice from here on out will come with more consequence than the last.